What's up, guys? It's me, Vince Ryder, and yeah, welcome back to more review. Welcome to the. I don't know what to really call this. Look, it's just reviews, and pretty much, I just wish I had a name. I wish my clever ass would actually come up with a name for more reviews of Miraculous Ladybug because that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Anyways, let's talk about Soul Crusher, and I just really want to, share a little bit, because right now, as I'm recording this, I believe that episode. I mean, the other episode that was, I think, I forget what the episode is called, but Queen Banana just came out. Just like, what, a couple minutes ago? They're releasing these like crazy. Ladybug Miraculous Studios or whatever it is internationally, I think, believe in Europe, that it is going crazy how many episodes they're just releasing now. And I believe so because I kind of started this whole review series pretty late, honestly, in this series in the middle of this season. But I'm gonna try my best to get through these, okay? But other than that, let's talk about episode 7, Soul Crusher. And I'm still fresh with the episode. There's a couple things I really want to look at and I want to see. One thing I heard is that SMG produced this. There was another studio that actually produced the episode, but I don't pay attention to any whoever produces episodes and all that, okay? But I do know the difference. I do know the models of the 3D designs and how they really compress it all together visually. So I gotta give huge props to that. Other than that, yeah, we're just gonna talk about Zoe, and I believe that's also the main focus for Queen Banana. That is basically about Zoe and what basically who she is and what her life is in France and how she's adapted as a new character, but also a half sister of Chloe and a complete opposite of Chloe for sure. But it starts off by a tour in Paris and pretty much kind of presents Paris to Zoe in a way that is kind of different and something that is definitely showcasing about her new life and what she is. And I believe that she didn't had a good one back in New York. I don't know what it is. From what I heard in New York, she has to be like, because look, New York itself, due to I've been there, I mean, what I experience, because a lot of times in America, like there are certain places that, especially, I remember like in the New York special of Ladybug, they talk about like how New York is romantic and one of the most romantic places, all that, and of course they're like from Paris and they do kind of really spotlight that in a way. But when I went to New York, there was nothing romantic about it. But of course, other people has different tastes when they look at other places in America, in Paris. There's different aspects to that. And I really couldn't see New York the way personally see it when I was, at Harlem, like in Shannon Islands and, in different areas in Brooklyn. And I really couldn't really see how, especially how New York is just one of the biggest cities and Paris is one of the biggest cities as well. And both of them are just huge and mega in their own rights. But I just really couldn't see like New York being this like place where like the fancy and the rich are just some like you have to be rich and fancy and stuff like that to be accepted and especially part of school. And maybe that's just a different aspects of seeing it, but the way I kind of see how especially how Zoe experience New York, I believe that she was seeing it how it's kind of like as rich as Paris and how they're both elite in some cases. But from my eyes, honestly, as a guy, that I just completely see it differently. It's just that I don't know. I don't know much. I'm from Jersey, so why with me? But yeah, we're talking about basically Zoe's kind of like just her part and how she's like a big example of this, new season, how, she will be well adapted as a new character. And at first, I feel like there's parts of me where I just like, there's parts where I'm like, okay, yeah, Zoe's here. But also, I kind of have to, really be excited, I guess, to see more of what Zoe can offer. But also seeing Zoe as just like, I don't know. I'm trying to understand much of like who more of what who Zoe is and what kind of example that does she plays, because I guarantee you, of course, she's gonna be probably the newest Miraculous holder. I'm not sure. It could be, either, true or here, because obviously the main Miraculous are the Guardian, which is, of course, Ladybug and Cat Noir, and they're always gonna be like that. But I'm really hoping that we get some new holders, some new people coming in. But it's kind of like seeing the new like basketball player in one of my favorite teams, and I'm basically looking at them being like, I never heard of you. I know you ain't LeBron. I know you ain't Stephen Curry, but I guess I have to like you because you're that good. And it's kind of like that the way I see Zoe. It's a new player in the game, and let's see how she adapts and really how she really strategizes and all this. Pretty much like that, I guess. But yeah, Zoe is pretty much introduced to you know um Marinette in the cafe, and pretty much this is a scene itself where she will remember. I think there's always that kind of lesson that the first person you see is the one that you will always remember. And yeah, of course, Marinette made a good impression with Zoe, and Zoe made a good impression with her as well. They were both kind of like best friends off the gate. Exchanging numbers, and yeah, it's pretty much like they are well adapted for sure. But later on, it goes into different turns in here and there, especially revealing like what she loves to do, basically. Now, if there's one thing for sure, I'm actually am excited for the dub, for Zoe. But later on, and pretty much, I just want to really preface this. I have a big list. This whole episode within Soul Crusher, there's a lot of different Easter eggs here and there where I have to look at, and where at least that's what I think it is, because it's just that there's a lot to analyze. At least a good amount of it as I'm trying. But later on, seeing how nice Zoe is, even giving the food to the driver. But then later on, Zoe meets her mom, and obviously, the stepmother doesn't really care at all. I don't know the real mom, the stepmom. There's a couple of reviews here, and I'm kind of behind in depth. Actually, I'm behind compared to other people that are deep in the fandom, that are really like, yeah, we already know that already. But there's some that like me, that are just knowing it right now. You know, and pretty much notice how she fakes the act play. I think that Zoe, in some cases, already, it almost seems like she already does her homework in terms of the way that she knows a lot of her, especially her family and Chloe, and and basically what she has to be, because I believe that she also has that experience as well back in New York, faking the stuck-up girl type, and especially in front of her mom, which really buys it. The mother buys it, of course. And yeah, it just seems like they're in good terms, because it seems that Zoe is trying to be in good vibes with everyone, doesn't want any beef, doesn't want any none of that, and Zoe is, I guess, a smart actor in that case. Then this is when Zoe meets Chloe, and Chloe does an exam check on Zoe's physical appearance, I guess, uh, where, like, pretty, especially the reference that Chloe makes, like, where are those, kind of like, especially of looking at the shoes and stuff. I guess this has to be focused on the shoes. I don't know what it is. Sneakers can definitely be fabulous as heels and whatever kind of like designer, shoes or whatever is on your feet. And sneakers are just in that, especially, I was really hoping that, Chloe having like some designer sneakers around her closet. No, it's just heels. It's just full on heels. Like, that's kind of uncomfortable in class. Okay, you kind of have to wear some shoes. Okay, but Chloe does an exam check on Zoe's like physical appearance. They kind of do look like somewhat alike. From what I see, Zoe is somewhat like, to me, is almost like a more mature looking than Chloe. To be honest, but yeah, I guess there, when Zoe is playing as the stuck up girl type, I do kind of see how she is like almost, I guess, looks like Chloe, or at least looks like a gang of that Chloe that made one of Chloe's click. I mean, obviously, there's Chloe has no click. It's either her or with Sabrina. And speaking of Sabrina, she's in the closet. Okay, they were talking about servants and Sabrina in the closet. What are you doing there, sister? Okay, what are you doing there in the closet? As you know, literally, is this a reference for something that I'm trying to understand? Like, literally, like in the closet. Okay, but later on, Zoe and Chloe goes to school and I usually don't see Sabrina work this hard, but I guess this is the time where Sabrina is working that hard. Running to class, carpets, laying down the carpets, carrying the bags, and all that. And of course, not much people trust Zoe because related to Chloe. But we see Marinette kind of giving a little bit of hope. Went up to her, went up to Zoe, went up to Chloe, and of course, Zoe is playing the stuck up girl type, and Chloe, of course, is like, "What? You know her?" Now, I really want to reference this. Like, I think I noticed something of Chloe just now. Is it me or Chloe has a bit more oomph? A little bit more energy true the way how she's like, I guess very mean and reckless to one of her like, friends or pretty much classmates and stuff like that. Tries. I know it's a typical Chloe, but there's something that I kind of known where you see Chloe, you usually see her being Chloe and this and that, being sassy, being a you know what I mean. But Chloe itself, I feel like this happens to be a little bit more personally like serious, like really serious, like not funny at all kind of deal. Because we're gonna see a little bit of that through Chloe as when she's being mean, there's a little bit more volume to how she is becoming mean to in front of Marinette, especially with Zoe, saying the stuff that is just like, wow, okay, chill, girl. Like, it's stuff like, that's Chloe itself. There's this feeling that she doesn't mean it, but she just pulls the trigger right away. It's just, I just got that feeling, especially seeing Queen Banana. And I am going to talk about Queen Banana soon, but also seeing this episode as well. I wonder if Marinette does understand that it's fake, that Zoe is actually faking an act. And especially how, like, knowing that Marinette generally knows, like, Zoe can tells by her actions, little details, I guess. The principal, as well, as they go to the principal office to actually assign Zoe to her new class. And from what I heard, assigning anybody in mid semester is kind of a bit hard. Okay, I guess you call semester in France. I don't know, or in high school. But yeah, the principal, obviously kind of, and of course, Zoe plays the stuck up type. There's different faces that Zoe has to play in order to cater her sister, I guess. And now, of course, she is now part of the class and already assigned. And of course, a lot of people are like, man, we don't trust this girl. But of course, Marinette, just I guess she has like some hope for Zoe, even though like if I was Marinette, I would understand why Zoe's acting like this. Well, because of Chloe, it just makes sense. Marinette does plan on talking to Zoe later, as Marinette sends her a text, and pretty much, yeah, sends a text, and I almost forgot. Yeah, of course, the number on the box of macaroons that uh Marinette gave to Zoe. I almost say Chloe. Zoe, and yeah, that's pretty much where the number comes true, and texting her and all that. Yeah, Zoe gets the message with a smile on her face. But this is what I mean by Chloe having a little oomph, being kind of more difficult. Because out of nowhere, and for some reason this scared me. I was like, this is kind of like a little jump scare, and just Chloe was like, okay, for a second she was in the closet fixing something or whatever, and as Zoe's on her bed actually just texting, and out of nowhere, Chloe just came up from above and saw the text, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Whoa, that's scary! Oh my god, where you came from?" Like literally, like some alien kind of stuff going on. Like literally, like how, like that quick. And I was like, "How did Earth did she get?" Of course, it's cartoonic in a way, but also nobody really referenced that how really quick of Chloe is. I don't know. There's just a part of prediction where I'm just seeing Chloe more, advanced and harder to deal with. As the show goes on, I am kind of right that most of the stuff is going a little bit more advanced. Shadow Moth is an advanced villain now. You gotta really think out the box to actually deal with the stuff, especially with the Mr. Pigeon episode that I talked about, where it's actually not an easy battle when you think about it. When you're really trying to calculate how to stop the villains, how to really especially how advanced and Ladybug is with the whole like Lucky Charm thing and what she's really trying to do, it makes sense. Now later on, that Zoe is really trying to, especially how we see these moments where Chloe really bashes Zoe in a way, but you know, later on, as Zoe then takes a break, and I'm trying to really find where I'm at. I'm kind of like in the mix here and there and all that, but yeah, pretty much, Chloe plans on like putting cockroaches on her locker. I think I put that in my notes. Zoe then goes on the roof. Alone, but not really alone. As Mayor Bourgeois, or I just call him Mayor B, just to be simple. You know who I'm talking about. Chloe's dad, maybe I can call him that, was up there. And as he tells his life story, I guess they were talking about something just to cheer Zoe up because, seeing Zoe kind of like depressed and a little bit. Um, we see Mayor B talking about his life story of what he wants to be when he was young. And he wants to be a movie director. And, it's like, yeah. And of course, Zoe then shares her passion, what her dream is. And she wants to be an actress, which explains how very well she portrays a certain character in front of the mother, in front of Chloe, in front of everyone, being the stuck up girl because she's good at acting like that. There's a little bit like more detail to what she really does and work when she does play that part because she wants to be an actress. And at first, there was somewhat a part of me when I was seeing the sneakers, when I was seeing the clothing she has. I thought she was going to be like a skateboarder, or I thought she was going to be like a basketball player or something in the sports. I feel like she kind of seems like more somewhat athletic in a way. Like I was definitely leaning either true, like, musician or skater. Like I don't know. I mean, me being a skater, I obviously would think that, especially how kind of skater girl she dresses and what she looks like, especially the sneakers she's wearing. But as this goes on, yeah, the father then actually reveals this little hatch he has where he basically shows all her dreams, but in a time in a time capsule in a way. But it's basically a hatch. It's like a little door to the gates of like what he has, and it shows these different books. And this is where the many theorists actually was definitely looking at. They were looking at this little like hatch, or pretty much hatch door, whatever it's in it, and it's like the dream hatch, I guess he calls it. That basically stores your dreams, and there is like some different pictures, especially the works of art. Like there was definitely a film that Miraby was actually working with, and he had like different actors, but it was actually I saw Emily, I saw Aggress's mom in the on one of the pamphlets of the books, or whatever you may call it, okay, for directing the movie. And then as he pulls that one up, we then see Kagami's mom. Well, many people say it's Kagami's mom. I don't think it is, but I got a feeling that it could be. It could be Kagami's mom. I could be wrong. But yeah, we start to see these like different kind of like actors, just two basically, but there could be some more reveal, like what's in that film that he has in there. Later on, of course, pretty much Zoe then pretty much thinks about the reality that she's put in. It presses her a lot as she puts her own shoes in the hatch, because I believe that Chloe did show the shoes that you know, Chloe showed Zoe these like new heels or whatever, these shiny designer shoes or whatever you may call it, expensive, yada yada, and then was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be a friend if you're not gonna accept these. You can have these, and Zoe wants them, but you gotta get rid of those shoes or something like that. And I'm just like, man, those shoes are better than the heels or any heels exactly because comfort. But yeah, that's when the moth appears, and it was a good transition. How the door hatch closes, and then Shadowmont appears, appearing, talking about the rejection and how the whole dreams can be ruined, and of course, uh, that's when Zoe got akumatized. Especially how the moth actually went for the dream hatch in the door, went for the sneakers, I believe, but instead of like whatever uh, is on Zoe. So that was interesting. That was a different kind of adaptation to it. Uh, then Zoe gets akumatized and turns into Chloe, and it really looks like Chloe. It's a golden figure of Chloe. She definitely ain't getting Chloe itself. The way she's freaking out, and as Zoe or Soul Crusher, invades the whole room and pretty much tackles anyone or pretty much steps on everyone. We see Chloe really being good old Chloe. I don't know why I thought Thomas is doing this to Chloe, knowing that, Chloe itself, like we saw a redeem in our last season. Now she's just being, you know what, okay? Not gonna say it. But yep, Chloe pushes everyone, especially pushes like Marinette's parents, pushes like the taxi driver, pushes like literally sacrificing everyone. Like definitely no redeeming arc like for Chloe as well. Like I guess she's not getting one. I wish she did, but man, this kind of shows like who Chloe is and how she's just like painted as this, like I don't know what it is, okay? But later on, Dan pushes Marinette, goes to Marinette's house, out of all places, literally, as of course Marinette gets captured, but doesn't get stepped on. Actually, carries Marinette because I guess in some cases around being akumatized, you still have your brain because you're. We see Zoe carrying, well, actually holding Marinette, and yeah, it just seems like that's what was going on. And then of course Chloe continues running away. But then later on, the Kwamis tried to help her. We see Zebra, which is I believe her name is Kalki, teleports to Adrian's room, which I'm like, how did you find that out? Goes to Adrian's room, and I'm kind of like wondering, like, does most of the Kwamis, or at least this Kwami, know who Cat Noir is and who Ladybug is? That will be interesting. Um, later on, Chloe runs to the boat as Soul Crusher is chasing her, but then Chloe tries to manipulate her. Literally, still on with the manipulation, manipulates her as she as she tries to actually, tell Soul Crusher to actually go for the boat instead. And if she doesn't, all this other stuff comes true when then, Akumatai's Zoe is like, why should I make this decision? But then you see Ladybug, or Marinette actually, like being like, no, don't listen to her. You don't need to listen to her. You're better than this, or something like that. Okay. One moment that I really was my favorite during this episode was the part where where you see Marinette. Like people say this is a Mary chat like moment, and it's Marinette basically, because Cat Noir knows that the world, the city's in trouble once again, as Soul Crusher was there, finds Soul Crusher, but also sees Marinette. And we see Cat Noir doing his heroic kind of like, I guess catchphrase, and this was like, I'm here to save you. And then Marinette was like, nope, let me finish. Just to continues talking to Soul Crusher, and I was just like, that has to be the best moment. Like sassy, freaking Marinette, like just going after. Like I think there's a little bit of Ladybug that just pops out, but yeah. Later on, then Soul Crusher trips. for some reason. I'm not sure what it was that she trips on, but Ladybug begins to, run away and actually almost gets like attacked and tightened because I guess it seems like that. It just reminds me of Attack on Titan the way that she fumbles. She uses, oh yeah, that this is when Ladybug comes in, finds a place. Of course, Tiki finds Ladybug, I mean Marinette, and then turns into Ladybug. Dan tries to use his lucky charm and gets a freaking shoehorn. I guess that's what it is, a shoehorn. Yeah, definitely, because it's Soul Crusher. It's about shoes, okay? I know about sneakers. Soles under your sneakers, okay? I definitely do that for sure. But Chloe then gets captured, well, actually gets steps on, which I'm like, well, yep, you saw that coming. Uh, Goes to the Chloe's house. Actually, Marinette. I mean, no, Ladybug and Cat Noir. Sorry, I gotta get these, perfect. Even though I'm not doing a perfect review. Marinette. I mean, God, Ladybug and Cat Noir goes to Chloe's house just to find what is the akumatized object. As then they found Sabrina in the closet again. Oh my goodness! But they also found Mary B. They found good old, like Chloe's dad, as they as Chloe's dad helps them actually get to the dream hatch, which is on the roof. Opens the dream hatch and then literally pauses midway and then tells Ladybug to not tell the wife, which I'm like, why? I mean, I know for a fact why, of course, but the wife, really, I don't know what her reaction would be. I get this feeling that she might take one of the pamphlets or papers or whatever dream thing is in that dream hatch and rips it apart. I get this feeling like um, Chloe's mom is highly worser than Chloe itself, which it could go either way. Like who's worser? Let's be honest. But yeah, opens the hatch with a shoehorn, but then gets caught by Soul Crusher, and this is a moment where it was like, why? Like as Ladybug tries to open the dream hatch, literally, and just notices like, oh, I need to use the shoehorn literally in mid-second. Then that's when Soul Crusher stops Ladybug by doing the most slowest punch. The slowest punch. It was fiery. There was something going on with the fist, but it was the slowest fiery fist, and it was just like it was just going like slow. It was going very slow, and I was questioning like, what is happening? What is that? Is this realistic? Like, okay, like especially using the shoehorn just to open, like you could just open the hatch with your hands. What does the lucky charm has to do? I don't know. I don't know, guys. But yeah, other than that, that doesn't matter because hey, we stopped. Um, pretty much. Also, what's another thing? There was just like three unrealistic things: the slowest punch, the freaking hatch opening, and then the third one was literally throwing the akumatized object, throwing it on the fist, and then Soul Crusher punches and like, okay, okay, there has to be a better way of actually really trying to tackle this situation. Like I just feel like it's kind of a little rush. It's a little, there's a couple bits in here that could have been better, but hey, it's Miraculous Ladybug, right? But yeah, that just happened, I guess. And yep, it just, even though how it seems unrealistic, she then actually turns back to normal. And then they go to the boat and then meet the new friends. And yeah, even though that Chloe is spying from afar, we start to see Zoe as her own self and apologize to the group and apologize to Marinette, and just becomes good friends with the crew, but especially with Ivan, aka Rhino Man. Like, big guy, what are you doing? You are the only one giving her like a hug. Like, okay, consent. I don't know, but yeah, I guess Ivan gave, like, I don't know what this means. Like, isn't Ivan taking or something? Like how come no one else is giving a hug? Like I thought it was gonna be Marinette giving the first hug, but no, it's Ivan. Ivan just was like, let me have that. Okay, Ivan. Okay. Okay, look, if I was there, like, buddy, step back. Okay, no, I'm serious, but yeah, it was a adorable moment. Okay, it was good. I'm losing words. Um, but yeah, Soul Crusher. That was it. My goodness, that took me a while. I don't know. It felt like this is gonna be. I really hope this is not an hour. I don't know how long this video, as I'm yapping and blabbering everywhere. I don't know how long is it, but I apologize. Okay, I'm keeping these videos unedited. There's no point of editing it. It's just me analyzing, discussing, giving you the goods of talking about each episode. And that's what I'm gonna do with Queen Banana, but I don't know how to do that because I need a nap and I'm tired. I'm out of these streets. Okay, y'all have a good one, and yeah, be on the lookout for more miraculous reviews, let's reads, and all that goody good ass. I'm out of these streets. Peace.